What's up, y'all? So I just want to talk about this real quick. I've been seeing a lot of these news stories throughout the past couple of years. A lot of women, they've been getting BBLs. For y'all who don't know what a BBL is, Brazilian butt lift. A lot of these women, they've been going to countries like Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Mexico, overseas, all these different types of countries. And many of them have been getting these butt enhancements to enhance their butt, to get a bigger butt. And many of these women have been suffering complications. Many of them have been dying. Many of them have been suffering health problems. I believe there was even a woman, right, to where she got a BBL and she was back on her way right here to America. And her butt exploded in the plane. My thing for you women who are doing this is what are you trying to accomplish? Like, that's my thing. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Because if you're doing this to get a man's attention, you having a big butt is not going to get a man's attention. You getting these BBLs is not going to get a man's attention, not going to keep a man. Alright? You could have a BBL, right? And still can't find a husband. You could have a BBL and still can't get married. You could have a BBL and still have generational curses on you that you have not broken off of your life. People just like to focus on the physical, but you gotta look at the spiritual and the emotional. Even if you do get a bigger butt, even if you do start getting attention from men, is it really the right attention that you want? Because you have to change something about yourself to get a man to like you. Now, you will help me understand this. Is that real love? You have to change your physical appearance to get someone to like you. Is that real love? And many of these men, like, a lot of times we could tell when a woman has a BBL. We could tell when the butt is fake. Like, it's so obvious. Like, majority of women who get these BBLs, you guys be paying for a cheap one. The one that you could easily tell is fake. Because it's easy to tell a woman who's naturally curvy, a woman who's naturally thick, versus a woman who got BBL most of the time. You know why? Because usually you women who got the BBL, you guys got the thick hips, the thick butt and everything, right? But you have skinny legs, you have skinny thighs. Like, it's very obvious. Like, that's not natural. Like, usually, like, women who are naturally curvy, who naturally have that type of body, everything matches up. They got thick hips, they got thick legs, thick thighs, like, everything matches up. So when you see a woman like those big butt and you see like skinny thighs, it's obvious there's fake. It's obvious because y'all paying for a cheap one. There's only been one woman who I could think of who I've known, like, at my job, who actually got like the expensive one that like fills up everything, your thighs, your butt, and everything. But even then, that stuff is not, that stuff is still not good. Because number one, you could get health problems, and number two, you got pain inside of you trying to hide. You got insecurity inside you trying to hide. You try to cover it up by getting these BBLs. You could get all of that and still can't get no husband. Because it's not about having a big butt. It's about your character, how you carry yourself as a woman. I've seen many skinny women throughout my life. Skinny, they ain't got no body, right? Skinny, they petite, but yet they still married. They've been married for many years. They ain't got the big butt like some women do, but guess what? They could keep relationship. They could keep a marriage. They got good character. When you talk to someone, they're nice, they friendly. You know why? Because they worked on themselves as a woman. If you don't work on yourself, you can get all of that big butt surgery, all of that, and still not be happy with yourself. Still be unhappy. Still not be happy in life. Still be depressed. Still be lonely. I believe one time I went to a laundromat last year, right? There was a woman in a laundromat who I recall. She had one of those BBLs to look like, and some guy kept walked over trying to talk to her, and she was not really in the mood. Like, she just kind of brushed him off. But you could kind of tell just by seeing that woman's face, everything, that she had all that surgery and all that, and yet she still wasn't happy. So what you women trying to hide? You having a big butt, that's what you want, a man's attention? All you're going to do is probably attract fornicators, adulterers. You're not going to attract no real man to you. Because a real man want a woman who's natural. Especially a man who is a real man of God. We like natural women. I don't want no woman who got these fake body parts inside them. I gotta be worrying about if their health is at risk. No, real men like natural women. You gotta work on yourself as a woman. That's why you gotta fast and pray. Get close to God. Break generation curses. And get rid of this worldly mindset. Because this world have you focused on stuff that just don't make no sense. You're over focused on having a big butt. That stuff can't get you into heaven. That stuff can't help you on Judgment Day. That's just a physical. All that stuff is gonna pass away once you go in the ground. Once you pass away, all that stuff is done away with. You can't take your big, that stuff not gonna help get you into heaven. You know, like it's like when God sees you, He don't even really recognize you because you change how He created you. You change how he fully made you as a person. You know, you have to understand that this life is not forever, so you don't have to do all of that. Because when Jesus returns, we're gonna get glorified bodies. So we don't do all these, but these bodies that we have now, these are just temporary. We're gonna get glorified bodies when Christ returns. So all these BBLs and these big butt lift, it's not worth it. Because, man, if you guys are sending yourself to an early grave, you're giving yourself health problems. And if you die from these surgeries, like, you really think God gonna let you to heaven? Like, you died from something that, you died from basically stupidity. You basically died because you never liked your real self. And even women who want to, like, enhance their, like, curves and all that, like, a lot of women back in the day, especially, like, 10 years ago, even a lot of women still today, they used to go to the gym, they used to squat. Like, I've seen women who went from petite to where they went to, you know, very curvy and all that because they put the time in the gym. But you see, a lot of people nowadays, they just want quick results. That's why you got all this fast stuff in the market. These weight pills, these BBLs, these breast implants and all that. Because people looking for a quick fill, a quick result. You don't want to put the time in. You know, instead of you walking outside and, you know, you going out to go exercise, you want to go take these weight surgeries. Some of you wonder where you end up having health problems, where your kidneys are end up failing, while so many people end up passing away. Look at the stuff you're taking. These black market stuff, these weight pills and all that. Listen, you want to lose weight naturally, go outside, exercise, diet. I've done it before. I lost 20 pounds in 2 months just by walking, taking 10,000 steps a day, and just watching what I eat. I could even lose more weight if I do high intensity exercise like HIIT, running, sprinting, you know, stuff like that, stairs. I could lose even more weight. But it's just to tell you that you can have all that stuff and still, you know, still not be happy. Well, I just recently saw a police officer, you know, I believe she went to Dominican Republic, got BBL, she died during surgery. Where do you think her soul went? You really think God gonna let you to have you basically telling God, like, I don't like how you created me? You basically died from stupidity. You died from vanity. Like, you died from vanity. You really think you're gonna make it to heaven like that? Like, so many people, they focus on stuff that just don't make no sense. You know, be happy with yourself. Because you can have all that and still get all those surgeries, still not be happy. Because, like I said, I see many women who are skinny, petite, and yet they still were married. Yet they still had men who liked them. Yet they still had men chasing after them. You know, every man is different. Not every man likes a thick woman. Every man got different preferences. Like me personally, I do prefer curvy women. But then there's men who I've heard of food to where they like skinny women. They like petite women. They don't like women who are too curvy with all the thighs and their curves and all that. You know, and there's some men like women who are like average. Like they got average body. Every man is different. Not every man wants a thick woman. So you doing all that to yourself to hurt your own self don't even make no sense. Because the person who God got for you gonna love you for you. The person who God got for you gonna cherish you. You ain't gotta do all that. The real man who God got for you, he gonna love you for you. He ain't gonna tell you to change yourself and change how you look and change your physical appearance. The only thing a real man, especially a real man God might do is just, you know, if you're getting like too overweight, they might just tell you to watch what you're eating and to like go exercise and take off the weight. But that's it. They're not gonna tell you to change your butt, change your breasts and all that. They're gonna love you for you. They're gonna love the way how you were naturally born. You know, you ain't gotta do all that. You know, so many women are hurting themselves for nothing. You do all that, and guess what? You still ain't close to God. You still got curses on you. If you got a curse of singleness and spirit spouse and soul ties and your curses on you that you not been broken, you got all those BBLs and everything, and still not get no man. You know what I mean? Women I've seen who are born, I'm talking about born naturally curvy, and yet they can't keep a relationship. You know why? Because their attitude. Because many of them still got curses on them. Because many of them are depressing, they're angry. Even the Bible says that it's better for a man to be in the top of a roof of a house than to dwell with the angry woman. Many of them have bad attitudes. And because of that, they can't get no man, no matter how thick they are and how nice they look. You know, too many women nowadays, we need more spiritual women of God. Too many women nowadays are focused on flesh, they're focused on materialistic stuff. You know, you focus on all that, and yet you're not even looking to get into heaven. You're not looking to get closer to God. Because seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, all things shall be added on to you. When you get closer to God, when you got a deep relationship with God, you know, he gonna naturally add blessings to you, and he'll give you a real man of God who gonna love you for you. So you ain't gotta do all these BBLs and all this stuff. All that stuff is nonsense. Like, too many people, they put their mind on stuff that just don't make no sense. You're hurting yourself over nothing. Over nothing. Like I said, these bodies are temporal. We're gonna get glorified bodies in the end. We're gonna get bodies like Christ. So why hurt yourself or cut your own life short and end up in hell, end up burning in the lake of fire, when you could just get through this life, make it to heaven, and get your glorified body in the end? You know, those bodies are gonna be way more powerful than what we got. Way different. You know, those bodies can't even die. They can't get sick. These bodies, this flesh is temporary. This earth is just temporary. This life is temporary. So focus on the eternal and don't focus on the temporary. Okay, you're just like that. Your life goes by. One day you're 20, next day you're 40, next day you're 50, next day you're 60, 70, 80. God spare our lives that we live to be that long. God spare us we even live to see rapture. But you know what I'm saying? You know, too many women nowadays, they focus on stuff that just don't make no sense. You know, keep your mind focused on God and get your mind off of these earthly stuff. Get your mind off this worldly stuff. Okay, you know, a lot of these celebrities, again, these surgeries and all that, a lot of people looking up to him. No, look up to God. That's what God said, don't have no idols before him. Because when you have all these stuff before God, you start to develop the wrong mindset, start to go on the wrong path. When you keep your eyes focused on God, you keep your mind focused on what's important. But nevertheless, guys, have a blessed day. And take care. For you women who are think about getting a BBL, don't do it. Just don't do it. Stay closer to God. Be happy with yourself. And if you want to enhance your body and all that, you know, tone your body up, ain't nothing wrong with squatting, going to the gym and all that. But you ain't got to do all these surgeries that's going to hurt yourself and destroy your own life. But nevertheless, guys, have a blessed day and take care.